To our live stream. We are so happy to see you. Today is Thursday, August 22nd, and the Aunties would like to welcome you to another live stream. It's so great that everybody can be here. We're happy to be online with you and bring you some fun, some August cheer. And as you saw in our pre-show, we had a lot of announcements and resources for you all. And we're going to continue that in today's show. Before we start, I want to just remind everybody that our next Sissy, Unci, Aunties live stream is September 12th at 12 noon Hawaii and 3 p.m. Pacific Coast. And so at this time, I'd like to bring on Justine. So let's have another one of our co-hosts join me, and she can introduce herself. While I'm waiting for her to join, I also want to just introduce myself, which I forgot to do because I'm so excited to be talking to you all. Skugtash Aninapchugik Jennifer Varenchek. Hello, everybody. My name is Jennifer Varenchek. I'm from the Tonatam Nation, and I'm just happy to be here today to co-host with you for our live stream. We got a really great show planned for you today, all about taking care of yourself in community. It's very exciting. So let's see here. Let me get, there she is, Justine. Yay! All right. It's all yours, Justine.
Awesome. Thanks for the introduction. Ya'ate, She'e, Justine Medina, Yenshe, Snake Clan from Winnebago, Nishle, Nakai Bashachin, Nakai Dene Dashache, Nakai Dashanelli. Hi everyone, my name is Justine Medina. I am from the Snake Clan from Winnebago, my mom's side. She's also Menominee. My dad's from Yucatan, Mexico, and also from the Mexican people clan on grandma's side. So happy to be here. I'm calling in from the Bay Area. I moved out to the suburbs from the Bay. And I want to just start opening up with a prayer and just open up in a good way. I am stepping out of my comfort zone. I like to say I'm like my pre-training for elders era right now because I'm gonna get there sooner than later. So let's go ahead and just close our eyes and start with the prayer. Dear Creator, thank you for this day. Thank you for another day of breath, another day of joy, another day of laughter, and another day just to feel any emotions that we have been feeling. And thank you for everyone that is joining us today in this conversation, that are here to tune in and hear from some amazing women to talk about how to take care of ourselves while we're also trying to take care of community as well. Just let the conversation flow, and hopefully this inspires someone or even two people to just take some action steps to take care of themselves today. And let's get ready with the show. Amen.
Amen. Awesome. Wonderful. Thank you. There's April. Yay, April. Thank you for joining.
Hello, everybody. Hi, everybody. It's so good to see you all. Hiohomi Takiape, April Cordovi, Machiape, Malakota, and Tos Pueblo. My Tama is Joseph Conquilla Cordova. My Ina or my cause, Patricia Crow Cordova. I'm sixth generation from Chief Red Cloud. I'm the owner operator of AC and Associates. I'm a mother, daughter, community member, co-host, and I'm extremely, extremely proud and honored to hear Justine's introduction and her prayer. So props to you, Teeny, for stepping out of your comfort zone. Once you start doing it on a regular, you just go super fast and people are like, slow down, I don't even understand. But I'm so proud of you. And I really felt that prayer. You know, I think a lot of the times we want to step up and we want to step into those shoes, but we're afraid to be laughed at, to be talked about, for me, for myself. So I'm really proud. I mean, I know people always call upon different people to pray and all of that stuff. So I'll know who to turn to next time. Teeny, I'm so excited. JK. But I am totally awesome. I'm totally excited to be here. Again, my name is April Cordova. I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Jennifer so she can do our land acknowledgement, and then we'll get into the show.
Thank you. It's a very sweet and to the point land acknowledgement. So before we start, I want to acknowledge that we're on the lands of the Tongva, Chumash, and Tatavian peoples, that this land holds their history, culture, and spirit. And as Indigenous people, that this is our land and we're still here. And as we talk about mental health and self-care today, let's just keep that connection in mind. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jen. I appreciate it. So we're going to go ahead and get right into our show. And I haven't seen these beautiful individuals in a while in person, but I want to do a little bit of a chit chat or check-in with my sisters or the aunties. And everybody knows, I think everybody knows, I know somebody, but the question or the topic, the question that I have is, okay, who went to Santa Fe Indian Market?
Not
I.
Not
Who
this
knows
year.
somebody that went to Indian Market?
I've been. I went last year for sure, and it was like amazing and fun and the most tiring experience of my life. But it was definitely like, I don't know, electric.
Mm.
It looks electric. So I've never been to Santa Fe Indian Market. I always want to go. Everyone posts their amazing, beautiful outfits, all their photos. The weather always just looks so pretty too. Like it's always sunny. I don't know. Those are the photos that get posted in my in my feed. Um, but yeah, I've never been. I hope to go sometime soon to Santa Fe, but it's so amazing though just to see like all the native joy there, all the native fashion, and like all the artwork that's coming out of there. Never been, but goals to go.
Right? I've never been either. And I totally want to go. My family's from New Mexico, the 19th Pueblo. So and a lot of my family and friends are artists at that market. Even traveling down to LA when they have the Autry market. Yeah, I've never went. I know Jen went last year and helped a mutual friend of ours. But I would love to go. I would love to go. I would love to indigenize that space. I'd love to be amongst the energy. You know, when you're just around so many amazing indigibadies, it's just amazing. So I'm excited to go. We have to schedule a road trip. I was just talking to somebody else in another meeting. I'm all like, road trip.
I think we should share with our audience our dream. Like, let's just put it out there what our dream is for next year, what we talked about. So I'll say it. Our dream as Sissy, Unci, Aunties is we want to do a live broadcast from Indian Market. So help us make that a reality. Help us to manifest that. We want that to happen. We're just so like, I don't know. If you've ever been, then I think you know, like the environment, everybody, it's like everybody's there and you want to be there too. We want to be there too. So help us get there.
Yes,
Everybody
that's
but me.
one of the dreams. I mean, we have a whole bunch of dreams.
Yeah.
But yes, we were talking about going to Indian Market or streaming live from Indian Market. That would be a dream. That is a dream.
Awesome. Yeah. It is.
Awesome. Yep, it definitely is. And now we can get into the topic. That was the exciting news. I feel like we start off with the segment of exciting news in Indian country, like, and that was our little section. But I just want to do a quick introduction on how this topic came about. The title that we have is Me and Community, and as me, Jen, and April are definitely involved with community, involved with events. We just want to talk about and like give space and talk to professionals of like how do we take care of ourselves within community, how do we practice self-care. I feel like it's definitely, I don't know, I don't want to call it a buzzword, but I feel like, you know, self-care is kind of hard, like as much as it makes it easy to see like on like Instagram posts that I just like and anything like that, like the activeness of self-care is like really personally for me it's really hard to like just turn yourself off and to focus on yourself. So go ahead and introduce our guest. I'll let Ava go first. Drum roll, please.
Thank you very much. I'm going to go ahead and go first and introduce our guest. This individual is an amazing auntie, an amazing mom, an amazing friend. Virginia Arvizu Sanchez, also known as Gina, is Tongva, Kumeyaay, Apache, and Azteca. And she has a deep understanding of Native relationships, community, and culturally relevant practices in the Southern California region. She has worked in Native community for over 22 years in several different capacities, such as education, advocacy, cultural support, 2010 census, a facilitator, a mental health provider. Virginia has and continues to participate in advisory boards to increase the visibility of her community. In her spare time, she practices in activities that ensure that her cultural traditions and traditional values will continue on through her parenting, community involvement, beading, and basketry. And I want to say that Gina is such an amazing individual. She's a true friend and somebody that I can say is a great support and a mentor to me because of her patience. I mean, my mom had patience, but I think this individual, Gina, is so patient. I don't know her any other way. I've never seen her mad. And a lot of people say that about me, like they've never seen me mad. Actually, I have seen her mad one time. But it's so rare that I can't even remember that time. And I don't think it was even being mad. I think it was being concerned, which can be two separate things. But I want to introduce Gina Arvizu Sanchez to the floor. Boo, boo, boo.
Thank you so
Hi,
much.
Gina.
Thank you so much, April. Meha, my name is Virginia Arvizu Sanchez. I go by Gina. I'm Tongva Kumeyaay Apache, and I'm zooming in or calling in from Orange County. But yes, I have worked in the Southern California area for quite some time now, and I appreciate you all asking me to come in and be one of your guest speakers for today.
Yay! Yay!
Awesome.
And for our next speaker, we're gonna have Yvonne. Yvonne, I met through a mutual friend that Jennifer knows. Alyssa, I met her through Alyssa Willie. And her name is Yvonne Cipher. She is Dene, from Navajo tribe. She was raised in Leop, Arizona, a small community located on the Dene Reservation. She's lived in Denver, Colorado for 10 years now with her partner, 2 kids, and pup. Over those years, she graduated from Metropolitan State University of Denver with a bachelor's degree in psychology and a master's degree in social work. Additionally, she's obtained licensures in clinical social work and addiction counseling. Yvonne currently works at Denver Health, providing mental health and substance abuse therapy to teenagers in a school-based setting. On her self-care time, I guess, and she loves going to concerts, hiking with her native troop, and spending time with her family and friends. So welcome, Yvonne. We'll do what April does.
Shike doshinet shidene Ivan Yinisha Nas Ejitaba Nishle Nakaidene Bashichin Biziflane Dashiche Tolujini Dashanale. Hello everyone. My name is Yvonne. I don't introduce myself a lot in Navajo, so hopefully that was understandable. But I said that I'm from the Zuni Edgewater clan on my mother's side, Mexican clan on my father's side, many goats from my maternal grandparents, and then my Bitterwater for my paternal grandparents. But thank you for having me on the show.
Of course. Yay. We're so glad you're here.
Thank you both for being here. And like Justine was saying, me, Justine, and Jennifer have all worked in community in Los Angeles and in different parts of Indian country. And being in community, working in a community org, I used to want to go and participate, but sometimes I would put myself first and not go, because if I would go, I would normally be working in that community and I wouldn't be able to separate. People would always be coming to me, like asking me questions. Where's my food voucher? Where's this? Where's that? Are you on? And I would be off. So me and community is something that we wanted to talk about, because to be honest with you, I've had a rough year. My father-in-law passed away like two and a half weeks ago. We all have things going on in our life, and we thought, how would we like our audience to come across and also be able to identify themselves in community, but also hear it from professionals such as yourself. So with the first question, there are things such as, what are your current stressors? If somebody came to you and asked you something like that, or came with just like this load of stuff, and as therapists or LCSWs, you hear a lot of things. So that's the first question that we have is, what are your current stressors? I want to ask either Gina or Yvonne, what would your response be to somebody that came disheveled to you and was all over the place?
That's a good question. And I just want to make sure I'm understanding this clear. So if we were in community and somebody came up to us disheveled and seeking support, how would we address it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it has happened plenty of times. So I think, it is partially like up to us to understand where we are at personally, because sometimes at that point we are capable of saying, you know what, I can give you a few minutes, and I can, let's take a walk over here and kind of just, debrief and de-escalate and then kind of come back. But at the same time, like if we're not capable, if we're not in that space or place, I think one of the benefits of working in the community and having, community outreach tables at a lot of our events is that there are people on staff. So, if it means taking, walking one of our community members over to one of our resource tables, more than likely there will be somebody there who can help to start linking them to services. And sometimes it is addressing just the needs that they have at the moment. But at the same time, like when we understand our own personal values and we know, like, you know what, I would not sleep okay tonight knowing that they are not okay. So I think a lot of times we have to know where we are at and what our values are to know, if we're going to be okay as well, because it is that give and receive, that give and take within our community. And so when we're grounded ourselves, then we can go ahead and support. But if we're not, then we go ahead and connect them with somebody who is. And sometimes if there is nobody there, then it can be another community member who is awesome, at supporting and validating and just offering their means of their support at that moment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with Virginia. I think if you can't give someone, what do they say, like if I can't give my water if I don't have any, to someone that's needing it. So I think definitely, like what the topic is of this show right now, self-care, I think that's why self-care is so important. But having that, having people come to me for when they are stressed out or, they are going through a lot. First of all, making sure I'm okay and I'm able to give that water to them. Definitely holding that space for them. I see it as a real sacred space to give them that time. And, I validate, I listen, really try to see where they're coming from. I know that I can't completely understand what they're going through, like if I haven't gone through that myself, but I think definitely just like validating and really just trying to understand like where they're coming from. And I think, validation just goes a long way for me. Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Thank you for answering that. And I know that for myself, I've been in these situations, just not being able to show up, I guess you would say. But I like the part that you say that you got to make sure that you're okay first before you help anybody else. That is important, because for me, a lot of the times I don't even think about, I just think about if you're telling me something, there's probably already resources in my head that are circulating, that who can I send this? But then I got to also think of myself. And do I have a minute to spare, or do I even have the capacity to have this conversation? I like that portion of checking in with yourself first before you can help somebody else. And also, if you're not in that capacity, providing a resource or a referral to somebody in the space that can also help them. Thank you for answering that.
Yeah,
Jen,
and I just want to mention something.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just really appreciate the work y'all do, because I remember one time I was at a powwow and my therapist was there, and it was like awkward for me at first because I was like, oh my gosh, this person knows everything about me, that that stressed up role, my good times, my bad times. And Jen was actually there, and I had told Jen, I was like, it's kind of uncomfortable knowing that my therapist is here and she knows the deepest things about me. But she made me view it. Jen, she had said, like, you know what, like, it's a good thing that she knows that. She's like our medicine man here. Like, she knows things and she's healing you. And I was just like, she's just a knowledge keeper, or like she takes care of community. And what you guys were talking about, that, like, how people do come up to you like at events and talk about that, like, I just wanted to like say that, like, I really appreciate the work that you do, because you are healing people with the work. So sorry, that was something that just came to my mind. Like, y'all do amazing work.
And it is important that you bring that up, because just like you might feel awkward, like, oh my goodness, it is the same way for us as providers. And that is something that I have actually addressed within like the first session with clients at times, is like, I can guarantee you at some point, because I'm a community member and you are a community member, we will run into each other. And so I just reassure them, like, if you and it's also part, I reassure them, but it's also part of them understanding what my role is. And I let them assure them, because it is very difficult for us to trust in our community. And so I let them know, I'm not allowed to share what we share here, what we talk about here in your session. And if you were ever to hear what we discussed out there, you should report it. And that is accountability, right? And so that is one of the things that I definitely, have spoken to, because they need to understand that it is not something that we're supposed to be discussing outside of our sessions.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like when you're in elementary school and you see your teacher at the grocery store or something, and it's like, "Ooh, I saw you out of school."
Yeah.
All right, we'll go to the next question.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks.
April, do you have the next question?
Yes, I do. So
Okay.
the next question, with regards to being in community is, well, going back to the first one, of what are your current stressors. I love everything that you guys all said, but some practical skills that I also want to take away is identifying what those stressors are in your life. And this can help. I mean, we always think of all of these big problems that we have, but just identifying them will help addressing them one by one. But then also, this is a big one for me, managing my time, because in the past couple of weeks, like I said, I've lost a very dear family member. And some days I feel like I haven't done anything like I used to do. And just to put it out there, everybody, these are emotional questions for me just because of the space that I'm in. And I want to be very truthful. There will be tears, and I'm hoping that there'll be laughter too, which there already has been. But in my own time, some days I feel like I haven't done anything. And that's not usually who I am. But then I'll talk to one of my close girlfriends, like Jen, and she'll be like, well, what'd you do today? And I'll be like, I made phone calls to doctors, I did laundry, I did dishes, and one of the things that she'll do for me, which I can't sometimes do for myself, is not not prioritize, but highlight that I am doing something instead of just being in my bed or crying or, being on a dark side. So I appreciate Jen for listening and highlighting those things, but I also want to know how to manage your time. How am I managing my time? Is that like, the question is, how are you managing your time? That's all I'm going to say right now, because I'll let the experts do it.
Yeah,
But that's
I think
the
another
question.
way to rephrase that too is like, how can people manage their time, or like, how does you see like time itself? I think for me, example, sometimes when I'm not managing my time, that's when I notice that I'm stressed out. So like this like time in general, like managing time, and what does that mean? Time. What does it mean?
Well, there's definitely never going to be enough of it. And that's just the way this society is right now, and probably will be for some time. And I think, we have to point out the fact that, like, in this society, they want us to do. When April, you were grieving, you were breathing, you were processing, so, and that is something. So when we have to manage our time, yes, there are things that we got to do, on a daily basis. And if we do them, like, okay, maybe we need to learn how to prioritize. We're not ever going to get everything done. And I understand, what you're saying in terms of the grief and how do you continue going with that grief. I would say this last year and a half had been very challenging, just within, community. And then, unfortunately, we lost my father-in-law as well. And then 3 weeks later, we lost my grandmother. And so it was extremely difficult for myself, my husband, my children, and I think one of the things, like, even though I felt like it was like this whirlwind of like, I could not feel grounded, one of the things I had to like really, I guess, praise myself for was the fact that, like, my children and, my nieces and nephews were like, I just want to spend time with my cousins. Can we just make cookies, or can we like build gingy houses? And I was like, okay, but at the same time, like, I had to tell my sister, like, hey, you know what? Like, we need to pat ourselves on the back, because they felt comfortable enough to say, I don't know what I need, but I need time with my cousins. I need time with my family, and to know that we would follow through. I think that was a big one, that they felt comfortable enough to let us know, and that they knew that we would follow through. We didn't know how or where, we're like, okay, we'll just make do with what we have right here. And they enjoyed it. And that presence that they gave each other, and that presence that we gave each other as siblings did a lot of healing even for us. So when we understand, like, hey, like, I can't be present for anything else if I'm not okay, if I'm not grounded, if I'm not, doing well, then I'm not going to be able to manage all this other stuff, and there have been times where, I had to tell my husband, like, I need more ceremony now than ever, because I'm not okay. And if it means I'm taking off for the weekend, because it's not like, the Western society where we just go around the corner to church, like, we have to actually travel. And so, being able to be in a space where I'm comfortable enough, and I have a partner that's supportive enough to say, okay, go ahead, I'll hold down the fort here while you take off and, go set those prayers down for us. And so I think it's, definitely first making sure that we're okay before we even think about everything else that's around us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, agreed with. Again, yeah, I think like making sure you're okay before you can take care of what you need to for yourself. I mean, and everybody else. I think also too that, time management, like, I don't know, that's kind of a, not really operating right now because it's so like my brain, like, what's the word? Time management is, it's just like, ugh. It's icky to me sometimes. I think it's just because that's that's such a colonial construct. Like, really? Like, this is not, like, our people did not, we weren't concerned about time, you know, like that. So, I mean, to me, that's the first thing that comes to mind. So then I'm just like, okay. But I think, like, with time, of course, we could use more of it. I guess if you want to get into time management, I guess just prioritizing, I guess, what's important to you. I mean, obviously we need to survive within, you know, our families and ourselves. So definitely just prioritizing whatever we need to do to, I guess, just to feel good. I don't know. Like, I guess now that I just think about it, yeah, time management. It's just an icky one to me, because again, it's like, you know, just like Virginia was saying with Averill, like, you know, you're grieving. That's taking time. That's your time to do that. I mean, you have every right to have that. I mean, that shows just how much you loved, you know, your father-in-law and everything like that. So it's like, I don't know. I just I don't know. Yeah, again, it's just an icky word, kind of that time management. But yeah, that's the only thing I can think of as far as just prioritizing things for you that work for you, you know, boundaries and focusing on your goals and everything that you need to either survive or thrive, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, I truly appreciate that. Like what y'all both said, there's never enough time, and time management is a colonial concept. And I really see it through my son when I'm just like, put on your shoes. And he's like, do, 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 do. And like, I'm trying to get out the door, but he's just like, I'm going to put these cars here. I'm going to, you know, but we've literally, like, time management has been created to like stress us out, you know, and he's just trying to just go through the day. So I was like, I should live my life more like Jaden, like, I'm on with shoes, Jaden. And he, yeah. Anyways, he has to go get a toy first before he picks out a shoe.
I thank you both for saying that. And Justine, I appreciate you saying that as well, because I think this conversation is definitely healing, is definitely needed. But I think for myself too, I think what I've been noticing is like I'm using these specific words that I don't want to use anymore, like rotting. Like I'm just in my bed rotting, you know, and instead I've been thinking of like, how do I rejuvenate myself instead of rot, you know? Instead of saying something negative, I want to be able to flip that switch. And I know, like, for me, like, I'm always here, I'm always there. And I guess for me, being able to slow down is a lot harder too. I mean, patience is definitely a hard value, but a continuous value, because I pray all the time, and then these things are put in front of me, and then I'm like, well, you paid for patience. So I just need to walk that, or still, you know, address what I'm asking for, because it's being given to me. It's just the way that I respond to it. So I appreciate you both for your responses.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think one way to restructure your rather than saying I'm rotting, you could say like I'm getting well, I'm refilling my tank. Because you are.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I heard something also too that very much I was in awe when I heard it, because you know how you always say you pour from an empty cup, and you're not supposed to be pouring. You're actually, this person, I went to this I had to go to Santa Monica, it doesn't matter, but I was talking to this person, and they're all like, you know what I just learned? That you're not supposed to pour from your cup, you're supposed to pour from the tea kettle, and not even pouring from what you have. So make sure, and it just makes me go back to the boundary first of, am I even have the space or bandwidth, I guess you would say, to help you in this when I can't even, you know, focus. But I appreciate your guys' response. That's the end. And I learned that from Gina, just so the whole world knows.
And
I'll go with the next question. So what does your physical self-care look like? Like, what do you all do physically for yourself, for your self-care? Any tips? Any?
Well, one year I actually, because I am a mom of three, and you know, I have been working in the community for my whole life essentially. But one year I actually made it a point to feed myself. I said, you know, my New Year's resolution will be, once I sit down to eat, I'm gonna eat. And I actually made it a point to pack myself lunches all the time. I typically, like, if you were to search my purse, you're always going to find something to eat. But I think that's definitely like one way is, if I'm not fed, and I do get hangry, you know, if I'm not fed, you know, I can't think the same way. I don't operate the same way. I don't react the same way. So definitely, eating, because like showering is easy for me, but I would say eating, drinking enough water, and sleeping. I've trained myself to take 5-minute naps. So, you know, and they work way quicker than a cup of coffee. So that's one of the things or I would say a few of the things that I do.
Nice. Thank you. 5-minute naps. I'm going to work on that.
Me too. I'm a nap person.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would same. I think definitely just the basic meeting those basic needs. I mean, making sure you're nourishing yourself with, you know, with good food. Like, I don't want to say like healthy food, but just like food that makes you feel good. You know, food that your body needs to function. And I think, yeah, definitely remembering to eat lunch when you've had a busy day, and just, you know, taking care of yourself in that way. I think for me it's that, and making sure I get movement in my body. You know, I do. I used to be so obsessed with running, but now that I'm older, I don't really have that much energy to do that. So walking has been great. Walking, I think, has been helpful for like everything, just mental and emotional well-being. I mean, even some spiritual, if I'm doing that outside and, you know, being in nature. Definitely just any kind of movement to help relieve that stress and get some mental clarity for sure. Sleep is definitely important. That's something I always tell my clients, especially like teenagers, like, you need to get enough sleep, otherwise you're not gonna be okay, and everyone else around you is not gonna be okay if you're not okay. So I think, sleep for sure, to give your brain that time to process and repair, you know, of what just happened the day before. But yeah, that's about it. I think, water for sure. Making sure you get enough water.
And I would say one more
That's
thing.
a
I was going to say one more thing too. When we want to, you know, conquer the day, make sure we get our earrings on, and you know, the ones that are going to make us feel that way. You know, it's like, what mood are we in, and what, you know, and putting on our jewelry, and you know, what mood am I in, and what's going to help feed that, and what's going to make me feel good, to just know, like, okay, I'm ready for the day. I'm going to go out that door, and here we go.
Here's an
I agree with that.
example of, like, I guess, not taking care of myself. There was this one time when I put on like my turquoise earring, and then I put like a beaded earring. So they were two different earrings that I put on, and I didn't realize it till the end of the day, because they're pretty similar. So yeah, that was a big, like, kind of like reminder, like, girl, you got to get yourself, you gotta you gotta be in the moment instead, because I was like on, autopilot, just just stressed out and whatever. But yeah, that's what I was thinking about when you said that.
For sure. I definitely know, like, for myself, if I have a big day, I will plan my outfit the day before, because when I wake up, the last thing I want is I don't want to have to like go through my closet and be like, what am I wearing and what earrings and what. So it's just easier for me. And if I don't, I usually, it's not a good start of the day. It's like, I guess in a way for me, I heard this saying, like, set yourself up for success. So like success would be waking up, taking a shower, putting your clothes on, eating, getting out the door on time. And if I miss that little thing, it's like, it's craziness. And I arrive at the event like flustered and not in my best self. Also, breakfast. So I used to run on just like coffee and like whatever, I don't know, whatever I could find, a donut, an apple, banana. But now I've learned to, on big days, not all the time, only on big days, make sure I have like overnight oats or something like ready to go. And so I may not eat it in the house. I might just like take it with me, but at least like it's there and I'll eat it and I'll know that I'm having like something nutritious. And I notice that like when I eat nutritious food, obviously I feel better, but I also want to like leave room for when those days, like, I just need to have McDonald's, like, because for whatever reason, it's going to make me happy, and it's not all the time, but there are days where I'm like, okay, you can have McDonald's today because you did good on your report or whatever. But definitely healthy food is best, like water, all of it. I'm up for that, but I'm just saying I do have my fast food days every now and then.
Yeah, the McDonald's app, eh?
Yeah, you're humanizing yourself.
McDonald's. I do want to touch a note though, like when you were like listing out your things to do, Jennifer, I don't know if I'm like just more aware of like the conversation right now. I was like, dang, it's hard to take care of ourselves. Like, like it really is hard to take care of ourselves. Yeah, I just wanted to just make that known because you listed that out and I was like, that was only her morning. Like she didn't even get to afternoon.
It is, but like I was thinking about how like I didn't start out like that, like for most of my 20s and even 30s, I was just like a wreck getting out the door. And like I heard, I remember like my mom used to like make me pick out my clothes for the next day. So maybe that was like why I was against it, because it reminded me of that. But then like, mom always knows best. So I was like, maybe I should do that thing. Instead, like it was that way until I was fed up enough to like create a change. So I think like if we're having problems, like you have to acknowledge that there's a problem and you have to want to change it. And I wanted to change it. So now like picking an outfit, jewelry, breakfast, like that's easy for me now, but it wasn't. There was, there was a while, but now it's like, if Glenn sees I have my computer bag by the door, I have like he opens the fridge, he sees my overnight oats, he's like, okay, she's got something going on tomorrow because all her little pieces are ready to go.
Yeah, I was recently at a training, and it's funny because like months back, I was at ceremony, and I was telling him that like in the beginning of the ceremony, I felt very unsettled, and I realized it was because I hadn't fully been grounded once I got there. And when I was at a training recently, I totally appreciated the facilitator saying, you know what, I'm here physically and we're starting this, we're starting the prayer, we're starting, we're getting the training going, but please, understand that I'm still getting here. And I was like, wow, like just acknowledging like, hey, I may be physically here, but I'm not like mentally, emotionally, spiritually here yet. Just give me a moment. And, and we all kind of just went around like smudging. it's important for us to normalize it. And so I totally appreciate it. And I was like, yeah, you know what? Like, we need to start doing that. Like, yeah, we might be here physically, but I'm waiting for the rest of me to get here. Just give me a minute. Then we can go from there.
That's actually a good segment to go into our next question. Jen, do you want to ask this question?
Yes. So you see it on the screen, hopefully. So how do you stay connected to others when you're burnt out? Like, you don't have anything in your cup, yet you want to be connected to others. How do we do that? And whoever wants to answer first. Is there a way?
Call and
even?
hang up. Eh? I'm just kidding.
Tag, I got you. That's about it. That's all I got.
Yeah. I think being honest with people, with the ones you're closest with about how you're doing. I don't think we do that. I think we just always say, like, I'm good, I'm fine, But I think, like, yeah, being honest with where you're at and reaching out for support, I think is really important. I know I do that a lot with my best friend, my husband. I always just say, hey, I'm not okay right now, or I'm tired, I'm burnt out, I'm all of that. And I think just saying that, I don't know what it is. I think just it's hard for us as women too to say that, especially if you're a mom and just, I don't know, just a woman. Because we do so much for our families, our communities. Like, it's, I don't know, so it's like to say, like, I need help, like, sometimes that that pulls something in me. I don't know, probably I come from strong women, matriarchal, and it's like, I don't know, but that's something I'm learning to do more, is like, hey, I'm not okay, and that's okay that I'm not okay, and I can ask for help because I need it.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
Mm-hmm. I would say, to definitely have your connections of who is safe to say that around, because some people just don't understand, what it is to be burnt out, or they might be okay with themselves being burnt out, but they're not okay with you being burnt out, because you're just supposed to have this eternal amount of energy and giving, right, of yourself. But I think also being able to reflect on, like, if I was a baby, if I was a toddler, would I be able to get away with this right now? Would I be able to get away with taking a nap right now, or taking a time out right now, or, going and eating if everybody else is, doing this and that? Because that's where we can decide, is it normal? Is it normal for me not to have anything to get, right? And a child, like, when they're struggling and they don't have, the ability to be grounded and to enjoy what's around them, and absorb what's around them, they have their tantrum, they have their difficulties. And what do? We soothe them, right? As moms, as aunties, as family members, we try to soothe those who are struggling. And so normalizing it and being able to say, you know what, I need that right now, and then being okay to, just say, okay, I'm going to throw that guilt aside, because that's just like a negative thing that I don't need right now. Then knowing who those people are, to be able to say, like, hey, I'm not okay, and I just need somebody to hear me out, or I need somebody to validate, or I need somebody to, have a sounding board. Like, am I feeling this way for a reason, or is this like, or do I just need a nap? So I think it's good to make sure that we have our connections and our people who do know how to support us.
For sure. Yeah.
I like that you said that, but I also want to flip it. And how do you, so say somebody else is in community and you're trying to What about if you're hearing all of these negative things around you? Like you go into community and it's negative, or you go into a space and it's that not that good energy. Like people are just complaining, or they're a professional and they're like, "Well, that's not my job," or I'm not going to do this, for me, like, I want to feel welcomed. And when somebody is like complaining about something so much, I'm like, I don't even want to be around that person because I feel like that is going to be on me. Like, how do I deal with a family member or a coworker that is a lot of the times can bring you down and bring other people down. Yet you need to come home and I need to be home, or I need to go to work, and I just want to be in spaces that lift me up because I'm not in a space in myself that's lifted up. How would you respond or go into something like that? And I know we're don't have a lot of time, but that's just like something for me because like I don't want to be in spaces that are negative. I don't want to be in spaces where people are complaining because I could do that to myself and be in my own head about it,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I would say it is definitely important to make sure you have a good relationship with your supervisor, that you're able to speak with your supervisor about like any challenges that you might be having in the work field. But then even also understanding, like, are they your ducks? Right? Like, is it your problem? Is it like what they're dealing with? And if it's not, like, separate yourself and say, you know what? I'm gonna go sit in this other place. I'm gonna go outside and have my lunch, or I'm gonna go, just take a walk around the block really quick. But just to physically separate yourself and then seek support.
Thank you.
I would say, which is it's harder to say this and rather than do it, but setting boundaries, and just, yeah, again, I'm not saying that I do that, but I think that's just really hard but I think definitely setting boundaries, and which can be difficult, especially with family. I definitely understand that. And that's something I'm learning right now, what to do, how to do that, how to set boundaries. But yeah, I think it's okay to do that, to set boundaries, and to that to yourself that, hey, I don't, this energy is just, it's not doing it for me. Especially if that's what is around you pretty much all the time with your own, like you were saying, like, I already do this to myself, so why would I want to be around it from others? But yeah, boundaries.
I think thank you very much. I know that I want to, as a mother, want to try to fix things and fix the problem, or create a solution. So if somebody else is like not in a good space, I do want to try to set boundaries, but I also want to be the soundboard and want to be able to help them and care for them, and so those are a lot of things that I'm working on for myself. But I really do appreciate the tips and that next step of maybe grief ceremony or grief something, because it's new. And the other day too, I was talking to my daughter about, now I know why we, in our Lakota ways, we take that 1 year to grieve, and we our different ways take that time to grieve and all that stuff. But thank you guys for all of your answers. That's at the end.
I just wanted to add something really quick, that I heard one of my nieces, like, she was 5 or 6 years old, and she was doing a puzzle, and just a very simple, she was like, just like, can you help me? Can somebody please help me? Can you help me, please? And, I went over to her and I helped her with the puzzle. But the whole idea, I was like, I don't think I've ever heard anyone just say flat, like plain, can you help me? And like, it really was shocking to me because she was so like not afraid about it, knowing that she was going to get help. It was just a very like, who's here? Who can help me? Help me, please. And I was like, oh, wow. Like you can just ask for help. Like it was just amazing. And I started using that in my family. I haven't really ventured out beyond that, but like, can someone please help me? Like, and then I don't know, I guess inside of us, everyone like wants to help. So they're ready to like join in just by simply asking. That was like an amazing, like eye opener for me. I know it sounds so simple, but like, I guess because I never asked for help, I didn't realize that it's that easy to do. Just open your mouth and ask for help.
I think it's amazing how much we can learn from our kiddos, from the kiddos that are around us. And that's why I said earlier, like, if a kid can get away with, not being happy, like, why can't I get away with it? Like, it's normal, right?
Yes.
Yes, definitely. They have so much to teach us.
They do.
I know. Getting ready for time. I do want to mention one more thing before I give you all the floor for last words, or last comments. Just mentioning about boundaries too. I feel like I'm forever learning about boundaries, like even setting a new boundary. And I think I just want to, for people listening, like it's okay if we're still learning boundaries and how to set them. And like I feel like as people, we're forever growing. I know I am. Like I am for sure and forever growing. I got some battle wounds now in life where I'm just like, oh my gosh, this is what I've been through. Like, what if I get this? No wonder why they say your elders are wise. Like, I am understanding that now. So, yeah, that's just what I want to say. Like, just learning boundaries and all this information is just like comes. We're forever evolving and learning. But yeah, I just want to thank you all for your time. Just if you have any last comments, please feel free to say them. This is very healing. For me, it was. I know that for me, for sure.
Me too.
I appreciate y'all.
Thank you.
Oh,
go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
I was just thinking that one of the things that I tell myself often is, when I'm creating a boundary or asking myself if I need to create a boundary is, can this person do this, or they don't want to do it? Because, they're capable, or if they can't, those are two different things. And at that point, like if I recognize it, I feel like it's my responsibility to at least bring it up, and then go from there. So that way I can say, well, I at least introduced the idea. And now, since you don't want to, now there's a boundary.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I appreciate you saying that because a lot of the times, and I say this with my grandkids, they're 5 and 8, they'll be 6 and 9, is like, if you're not comfortable, say no. Like, even if it's your family, I don't, even if it's like my aunt, my uncle, I'm going to say no because it's not comfortable to me. My daughter was actually just having a conversation yesterday with my grandson about trusting his gut, like trusting the fact that, because he's in baseball and he was like going from third base to home, and the person threw the ball to home and he was like unsure of himself. So he ran back to third. The catcher ended up missing the ball. So he would have made it home. And my daughter told him, you need to trust your gut. Just go with your first instinct. But then backing it up, she was like, do you know what trusting your gut is? And he was like, no, I don't. So even taking it back to basics, Justine, simply saying no, or, it can be that easy of us going back to the basics. I appreciate that. And then I also just appreciate you as health professionals being here. I appreciate our audience being here. Jennifer Liao checking in. Jennifer is a really good friend of the show. But also I wanted to, before we head out or end, I do also wanted to make sure that for Gina, if you guys all want to check out Sacred Path. Gina, I don't know if you want to say anything about Sacred Path, and then Yvonne about your location as well.
Yeah, so currently working with staff and background here. But I work with Sacred Path Indigenous Wellness Center. We currently have a office in Anaheim, which is in Orange County, a couple blocks from Disneyland. And we are currently looking for some space in LA County. So we are expanding and we're offering services to the community. Initially, we started off primarily focusing on research, and now since last year we've expanded out into offering services to the community. So we're offering mental health services and workshops that are culturally centered for the Native American and Indigenous community in Orange and LA County. And we do have some sessions that are offered virtually as well. So keep looking out on our website.
Thank you. And I know some of your things are like cultural based reading sessions, and which can help with all of these things that we're talking about today.
Right. Definitely.
And then I don't know if you have any last words, Gina, other than that.
Yeah, I just appreciate you all inviting us to be here and letting us share from our perspective, as community members and as providers for the community, because it's important that we remember that we're both, that we're not one or the other, but both.
Thank you. And Yvonne, did you have any last words or want to say anything?
Yeah, I just want to say thank you again for this opportunity. I think what you guys are doing is awesome. I would have loved to have this either growing up or at least available to me, especially when I always need it, but when I really needed it when I was younger. But I think this is an amazing resource to provide to the community. And I appreciate you guys reaching out to me, and I think it's awesome. Keep doing it.
Awesome. Thank you. Well, thank you all for being here. I'm going to turn it over to our co-host Auntie so that they can give their last words as well. Thank you.
Well, everybody, I'm so glad that we were able to share this time, and hopefully some people were able to listen and get some good tips and help us when we're, take care of ourselves so that we can take care of community. I want to remind everybody again that our next Sissy, Unci, Aunties live event is September 12th, 12 noon Hawaii, 3 p.m. California or Pacific. And that's it for me. So I'll pass it to Justine.
Just want to say thank you to our guests so much. And thank you to everyone that is listening. And just want to make sure we just go into the day, into the rest of the week, just feeling good and practicing boundaries and some self-care. Thank you, everyone.
Bye, guys. See you in September.
Bye.
Bye.